don't need headphones if we're not.
Welcome to The Talking Dead. It is May 21st, 2011, and I am Jason.
This is Bob.
This is Ken.
And this is The Rapture. And you are watching The Rapture live here. Don't go outside. Just watch us now. Because we will tell you everything that's happening today on The Rapture. On the live Rapture show of The Talking Dead in 3D.
Okay. Dude, first order of business. Call Brother Mike right now.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You got to call him right now. Get his ass on Skype. And I'm betting...
I can't.
He won't answer the phone.
He's not even signed on. He's been raptured.
I don't think he's been raptured.
I think he's been raptured.
It looks like his website was raptured too.
I think he's raptured.
So I tried to hit the family radio site today.
Dead air.
And well, no, it's not dead air. It's not. The site is up. They are up.
Oh,
their countdown. The family radio site is up. The countdown is on 0 days, and they have canned content that they have pre-programmed for. Because today's the Rapture. Starting now is the tribulations.
Yes.
So they have content for those people left behind for the tribulation. But they're still broadcasting. Their site is still up. It just takes a little time because I think obviously they've had a lot of traffic. I think their site's being overwhelmed.
Well, because remember, if anybody listened to the last broadcast of This Non-Religious Life, we scored higher in a Google search than they did.
Yeah.
They are now one above us.
Well, all right, okay. Well, that makes sense.
So
the article that I wrote about campaign's math and stuff, I've been tracking the hits it's been getting over the past 2 weeks, and every day significantly more. And just yesterday, spike, straight through the roof.
Well, our last broadcast of This Non-Religious Life had, just on the website side of it, had 1,500 views.
Wow.
So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
So no,
but that's a Rapture. Everybody's looking for something.
No Brother Mike, huh?
No, he's not signed on. I can't get him.
God damn it.
That's a shame.
Don't. It's a Rapture. You can't say God damn it.
I'll say God damn it all.
You cannot say God damn
it. The canned content. The canned content is really funny because it's like if everyone's raptured up already and they're just putting in the content for everyone else to listen to. Isn't that kind of rubbing salt in a wound? It's like, like a neener, like we were right,
They're not.
Well,
yeah.
Well, according to CNN, because CNN put up their IRS filings and all that, but according to CNN, they extended their nonprofit status until like next year. They've already extended. They did like in the last couple of weeks. They've extended it. But if it's into the world or Rapture or whatever, why do they care?
Well, I don't know. I've been reading a lot about family radio in the last couple of days. And I think it's interesting that they, as an organization, they realize that some of them are going to get raptured. Or what they believe is that some of them will be raptured away into the sky. And they know that they're going to leave some people behind. They have some employees... They're paid employees of family radio that are secular non-believers. And so they have content left for them to, pre-programmed content for the radio. They gave them yesterday off as a paid holiday. And they've arranged for the fiscal, responsibility stuff to be taken care of. Like family radio is still going to pay its electric bill. They're still going to pay the water bill. The lights are still going to be on. They've planned for a future where they won't be there.
That makes sense.
However, which I think I applaud their responsibility. I'm like, wow, way to think ahead. Only I just don't think it's going to happen. Obviously, it didn't because we're all still here.
We don't know if
it's
we're
one
here.
Of those things where when you're expecting corpse belching earthquakes around the world. The last thing I would be worried about is my electric bill.
No, there is a volcano going on right now that started today in Iceland that spurred 50 earthquakes. The earthquakes are no larger than 3.7, but there's a volcano.
Yeah, but didn't I
and the world?
Didn't I say the last time we talked about this when they predicted that it would start with earthquakes. I said, well, that's a weak prediction because earthquakes happen every day all over the world. It's just this one,
But not with a volcano.
Well, it happens somewhere.
It's in Iceland. It's the most active volcano in Iceland that's predicted to go off, just like Old Faithful. But it happens every 10 years.
Well, did it happen
so
according to schedule?
How could they predict that this volcano that goes off every 10 years
is going to go off
is going to go off?
Has it been 10 years?
It's been 10 years. But how do they know that?
because obviously Harold Camping can do math.
No, can't.
Or rather, he has demonstrated an ability to do arithmetic.
And if you just tuned in to this non-religious,
I woke up this morning and I was like, I legitimately wondered if there were any big earthquakes because there are huge earthquakes all the time. I said it before.
3.7 is not a big earthquake.
No. But there are big earthquakes all the time. So I was wondering if there was any big ones. And the biggest ones I could find, I signed on to the U.S. Geological Survey. It's great. You can see a map of the world, see all the big earthquakes. The biggest in the past 24 hours were I think there were 4.6s in Japan. A 4.6 will shake you up a little bit, but it's not corpse belching.
Right, yeah.
And the graves of everyone who's ever died, aren't being opened up and their remains spewed into the atmosphere.
Maybe we should save this for the other show, but where were the seals being broken? Where are the horsemen? Where are the...
Yeah, it was really funny. When, this is going to go to a different end time prediction, but last year, when the oil spill was in the Gulf of Mexico, there was a guy saying that was the second seal. That was that was the ocean turning to blood and blah 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 blah. And it's like, I love when people try to pick out stuff like that and like, this is the second seal right here. It's like, where was the first seal where like all the land got burned up and everything got destroyed? That didn't happen.
That's later.
But what's really fucked up about this is the news.
What is this, Pulp Fiction? Everything's, back and forth. Like,
it's a non-linear translation.
Eschatology.
The seals don't have to be opened in order. There's nothing that says you got to do them in order.
Yeah,
or is there?
Yeah.
It is up first, second, third, fourth, I think, but.
Didn't you watch the not Lou Diamond Phillips, or maybe it was. It was in Seventh Son. Anyway.
Lou Diamond Phillips was the third power. Demi Moore was the seventh seal.
Fifth power.
Was it fifth? I thought it was third.
Fifth.
Okay.
Anyway.
I stand corrected.
But
he didn't break any seals. It was Demi Moore.
Yep.
I don't know. Damn movies. But anyway. No matter what seals are broken, there was some crazy shit going on because of this. Did you see the news report about the mother that didn't want her children to live through tribulation? So she took a box cutter and a paring knife, cut their throat and their wrist, and did the same to her.
Is this today?
This happened like...
yesterday or something like
No, it happened like a couple days ago.
Okay.
And
I saw it yesterday.
And the only thing that saved her was that her friend came over like shortly after it happened and, called the ambulance and called 911. And she, is going to court now. Her mugshot has a big gash in her neck. But what the fuck?
I lay those deaths firmly at the feet of Harold Camping. Him and people like him, like Brother Mike. That is blood on his hands.
And that's we mentioned it,
and that's not to absolve the mother of any responsibility at all, because she certainly is responsible. But he is just as culpable.
Do you really think so?
I absolutely think so.
But does that hold true to of anybody else mentioning something, say something's going to happen? That just because you talk about it and say it's going to happen doesn't hold you responsible for. You could look at vandalism or something, just something. I'm taking it down. I'm not comparing these deaths through these children and what happened, what she did compared to vandalism. But I'm just saying, if I say on the radio that, I don't like XYZ company and I think somebody should, I think there should be rocks thrown through their windows or whatever, and somebody does it, does that hold me accountable for it?
I think it's different. Camping is screaming fire in a crowded theater.
No, I don't think he is. I don't think he is. I mean, because we're talking about magical shit happening, and if you believe that,
all right. So here, all right. I guess it's a subtle distinction, but I think it's an important one. Whereas I will defend anyone's right to say what they want. I mean, freedom of speech is important, and he can say whatever he wants. However, you have to accept the responsibilities of your free speech. It's not free speech isn't free. It comes at a price, and that price is your responsibility for the repercussions of your actions. And so, while he may not be legally responsible for the deaths of that woman's children, that doesn't change the fact that their blood is on his hands.
So you think he's responsible for the guy that gave up all of his money, the 80-year-old man who gave up all of his money, gave it away because he believed the rapture, and now he's homeless and has no money? And
I do, and I liken it to it's fraud. It's just as bad as fraud. If I send out 10,000 emails saying that I'm a Nigerian billionaire and I just need you to hold a little money for me in a bank account and I'll give you a percentage of it, and I scam you out of your money that way, that's fraud. I could go to jail for that.
Camping's not asking people to give him money. Camping's not asking them to hold back, to give something back to this. All he's saying is, you need to find Jesus, and you need to do it soon because the world's ending.
That makes it the perfect scam.
Well, that's the thing, though. From what I've seen, Family Radio made $72 million on this.
Well, we don't know how much they made on this. There's not been any official report on it. There's speculation. The only thing that we have that's solid, and we won't know until they do their 2011 IRS forms, but in 2009... But but in 2009,
you think IRS bureaucrats are going to get raptured up?
Yeah,
definitely not.
In 2009, the IRS filings for Harold Camping's crew for Family Radio, they received $18.3 million in donation, and that's outside of their $104 million in assets that included $34 million of public traded stocks and securities. And that was in 2009. We don't know. Nobody knows what he's making right now off of this.
They had $18 million in donations in 2009 during a recession, and not at the peak of this May 21st hysteria.
And I'm not doubting that he is making a shitload of money off of this. I'm just
if they made 18 in 2009, I bet it's 36 in 2010, and I bet it's at least that much this year alone.
Well, the guy that we were mentioning talking about earlier that gave up everything, he gave all his money.
$140,000.
Yeah, he gave all of that to Camping's crew so they could put up billboards. And now he's without anything.
Well, and I think Camping is there would have to be a way you could almost prosecute him for fraud.
Can you though? I mean, there's nothing illegal about being a cult.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, there's not. If say for whatever freak reason we have wonderful, crazy followers of this program or from our Zombie Popcorn website, and they freely give me money, and I make crazy predictions saying that on July 15th they're going to stop making pants.
Well, when we talked about that, like we even said like Ken, you would be an awesome, new age preacher preaching at the wave. You would be fucking great at it, and you would probably be rolling in dough. But it's a whole ethical issue that gets in the way.
Nobody's saying ethics. Yeah, we're not saying that it's right that he's doing it, but
that it's not right.
But it's not illegal. He can do it all he wants.
All right.
People can die, kill themselves, give away all their money.
You're right. That is an important distinction. Just because it's not right doesn't mean it's not illegal.
I mean, there's a lot of things that are not right that are not illegal. Look at what our politicians do.
I agree. But my point is that fraud is illegal.
Yeah.
And I liken this to fraud.
I would agree with that.
And I think that that Family Radio has certainly a moral, if not, I would argue, a legal responsibility to those people that shelled over their life savings, expecting to be raptured away today, and they're just going to be disappointed.
Well, yeah, definitely. There's something fundamentally wrong that you can look somebody in the eye and say, yes, we'll take this check, knowing that it's every fucking penny you've ever made in your life because you believe you're not going to be here Sunday.
Yeah. No, I agree. Hey, you know what? If somebody wanted to give a big fat check to Zombie Popcorn
Hell yeah,
Radio,
there's a donation.
I would take it. But that's different. That's like, hey, I would be flattered if somebody would be like, hey, man, you guys are funny dudes, man. Bring it on. Let's like do some more content. I think you should have a live show and maybe get Christina Aguilera to sing the theme song, Whatever.
I would be down with that. And if you want to do that, there's a donation section on.
But that's different, right? That's like, okay, well, I didn't think I'd ever get paid for this, but awesome, cool.
Yeah.
Not, hey, you better give me your money because
Come Sunday, you're not going to need it.
Right, you're not gonna. But also, the implication is it buys you a seat in heaven. That's the implication. You're buying the ticket for the ride.
All right, here's the deal. This is what we're gonna do. Today is May 21st. By June 21st, if we don't have $1.5 million donated to us, Bob is going to die. But if you save his soul by donating this money, you'll have a special place somewhere. We'll make a chair for you, and you could sit there.
Let's not die. Let's just sell my soul on eBay.
No,
I heard that worked. We could do that. Like we put it in a mayonnaise jar.
But did you not see the Simpsons episode?
Bob's soul.
Here you go. This jar will contain. See that? That's the essence of Bob's soul, and it can be yours for only $19.99.
No, the highest bidder. Highest bidder. I've only got one soul. We can only sell it so many times.
While supplies last.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. This whole thing. So I made sure that today during the rapture at the appointed hour at 6:00 Eastern time, I was in the bar doing shots.
How'd that go?
Went pretty good.
Well, I saw the place. We won't mention their names because I don't know if they want us to promote them. The place where we record this non-religious life is having a rapture drink sale.
Really?
Yeah. It was on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, my
tonight.
girlfriend's there pouring.
So tonight it's like $2 or half off or something. I forget what it is, but they did a Facebook post on it. But
right on. I hope people show up to get post-rapture drinks.
It'd be awesome.
And that's another thing I'm disappointed at. I'm looking forward to the post-rapture looting. I was hoping to get a new car today, and it just hasn't happened yet.
Big screen TVs. However, I mean, those people, who knows how much money they're going to have if they sell everything and then give it all to Family Radio.
I was telling Bob earlier that I'm upset that I didn't have the foresight to send an email or to call Family Radio and say, on Sunday, can I have your radio broadcasting equipment? Because they don't need it.
Well,
I do.
But they have it set up because they're actually broadcasting. They have to keep broadcasting the message during the tribulation.
You don't need...
And I got to tell you, I'm tribulated right now. Is that a proper word? I'm getting tribulated.
Well, I'm just saying.
We're having the tribulations right now. This is really terrible.
Ow. Stop.
Do you feel a pox coming on?
I feel a boil.
Yeah.
Bug bite.
Ow.
It's the plague of gnats.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, you don't need full studio equipment to rebroadcast stuff. We do it all the time.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. If they're just playing canned content, then
you just need something to.
They don't need microphones or stands or recording equipment.
TriCaster. I only hope. But yeah, so
if Harold Camping wins my award, that's religious
2 in a row,
in the fucking decade.
Well, I just want to let people know, why everybody else is making money off of this. Zombie Popcorn has a new site for their store, and it's store.zombie-popcorn.com. And on this site, you can get wonderful things like the Zombie Popcorn shoe, but more relevant things like I Survived the Rapture t-shirt, sponsored by This Non-Religious Life. So go check it out and buy one today. All right. Yeah. That's
Nice
a true
little plug.
story, so go do it.
Yeah, all right. It's I love the end time predictions, man. Like now this one's down. I don't know. We have
We
a
have
year
less
and
than
a
year.
half.
Is it a year and a half? What is it's yeah.
What, till
December
2012?
Yeah.
December 22nd.
Yeah,
Why
but those were the
22nd?
Mayans. Those are godless heathens.
Yeah, I know, but I just love all of the end time predictions.
No,
you know,
they may be godless heathens, but more people are afraid of that than they were of this because at the place that I work,
They have better PR.
it's crazy because I was
well, they've
For-
had decades.
for the days leading up
PR.
to this, days leading up to today. Every customer that came into the store was like, "Are you ready for the rapture?" And they're like, "What?" And they're like, 2012. I'm like, "No, not 2012. It's like Saturday." And they're like, I had one lady go off on me. And she was like, "No, the real rapture is going to happen 2012." And she went on this. I mean, there's more people really believing that 2012 is going to happen.
Well,
Bigger,
that's unfortunate
bigger,
in and of itself.
bigger than this. I mean, because nobody knew about Harold Camping and this thing. I'd say probably 1 out of every 35 people knew about Harold Camping.
A lot of people knew about Harold Camping. I was thinking that maybe today might have been Judgment Day. I was sitting in line at the DMV this morning to renew my license. It's awful.
That is
But
tribulation.
yeah, it is tribulation. But I mean, I heard at least 10 people in line talking about the rapture.
But I think they're talking about it because today
was
and
it.
yesterday,
Yeah.
CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, all the majors were pumping it out there.
Yeah, it had mainstream coverage.
It did, but up until yesterday, it really didn't.
But I think that's a product of our
No, that's definitely
internet world, though. I mean, I can post a funny cat video on YouTube, and it could get mainstream coverage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I'm just saying is like we interviewed Brother Mike a month ago, and people that I talked to that came into the same place, same people I talked to then, I was like, yeah, we just interviewed this guy, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, I mean, they just shovel their feet and don't even know what I'm talking about. And still, the closer we got to it, a bigger percentage knew about it, but it still wasn't that many. And
yeah, well, okay, just because it has traction with the mainstream media, just because they're reporting on it, every mainstream media outlet, they only reported on it in the context as like a fluff piece.
Yeah.
And nobody, it didn't garner serious, serious journalistic. Nobody looked at it through the serious journalistic lens. And my yardstick, The Onion only published one article making fun of it. Right? There was only one funny Onion article. And I thought this would be comedy gold. I thought The Onion would just go to town on this thing. And
Well-
they only had one thing.
I don't know. I mean, I think we're the only ones that can do. What is this? Our 5th show about the
Well, it's, you got to go with what you got,
we're just rolling with it.
It's topical.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brother Mike.
Oh well. What are we gonna do next broadcast?
I know, right? I don't know.
I wonder how
That's
long
our
it's going to be
tribulation.
before Brother Mike talks to anyone.
Yeah.
If
You
he,
know?
if he profited from this, he's off on an island now.
Yeah, right. The Bahamas.
I'd like to know. I hope the news reporters find Harold Camping and just okay, he's alive and well in his house and no statement yet, but we're waiting.
I'm sure there will be. I mean, because the Christian Science Monitor, is that the website, the publication?
Yeah.
They have a big article about why Harold Camping's wrong, and I sent it to you today. And I put it in our docs and highlighted it. But they're talking about the math of it. That's why I sent it to you. So why his math was wrong.
It's the
and
arithmetic.
and I don't know. It's a really interesting article, but Only to Ken because he likes that shit.
This is the backpedaling that's going to start, and campaign's done it before, and he's not the first. I mean, how many predictions has Benny Hinn made? There were like 3 to date. The Jehovah's Witnesses have had 9. Just because you're wrong once doesn't mean you can't be wrong 8 more times and still be perfectly legit in the eyes of people who believe what you say.
So did you see there's already the rationalizations going on. There was a CNN article where they had a guy, he was on the East Coast, he was a truck driver, he quit his job, spent his life savings on an RV, drove to California to be in Oakland today on Rapture Day, and this was before 6:00 Eastern time, but as 6:00 was occurring elsewhere in the world, and nothing was happening, he was like, "Oh well," and he said like,
"The rapture."
He said like, they had the article cited him as saying things like, "Well, Harold Camping doesn't lead us; God leads us." And the fact that I haven't been raptured into heaven is, it's just another test from God. I'm just being tested even more. I don't know, a John Q. Public guy that was a believer who sold his home, took everything he had and his wife and his kids, bought an RV, drove to Oakland to be in California for the rapture, and he's going to be disappointed.
Being in California, I would be too. That place
right.
sucks.
In Oakland, right? But
wrong side of the bay.
From what I understand it's disappointing even just like looking at family radio, because it's like.
Did you hear where it's located?
Yeah, it's
oh my god!
Like a tire shop and a garage or something. It's supposed to be really nondescript.
And when I read that, I just went, "Wow!" But I guess that's how you make you save money. I guess. I mean, look what we broadcast.
That kills me. Their budget, though, if that's what they're operating out of, I mean, $18 million is more than some good national nonprofits.
Yeah.
That's more than their annual operating budget. And I mean, with a scare tactic like this, they got to be raking in dough.
And it's just so bizarre. Miley and I were talking about it this morning on our way to work. Why the fuck do you give money to somebody with a doomsday prediction?
Because you want a seat on the ride.
No,
man.
you do, but fuck, really?
You believe it, and it's Pascal's wager.
I don't
I don't really know, but maybe I better sign up just in case.
I just don't understand. I mean, it's like if anybody told me, anybody, I don't care if I don't know. I guess that's where if somebody says we're all going to die tomorrow. Yeah. But you'll have a special place in the afterlife. I guess I have to believe in the afterlife first. If you give me money.
That's exactly
and you have to give me
sight.
But who believes that?
But people obviously do.
I know.
They raised $18 million. They had $18 million worth of believers.
I just don't understand. I could understand more that if you go into a brick and mortar church and the preacher's like, okay, I'm talking to you about God, but we really need money for these programs. We're going to help the homeless. We're going to give books to whatever. So we need money for that. I could understand. Yes, you want to do a good deed. You want to have a healthy.
That is exactly the Richard Dawkins argument of what's the harm. That's exactly it, because his whole point is that when you have and that idea of we're a community church and our collection plate, all we use it for, the money we raise, we use it to pay the bills, we pay the electric, and then whatever's left over, we provide a battered women's shelter, we feed the hungry, we clothe the homeless. Great. That's awesome. But the point is that all of that religious moderation leaves the door open for guys like Harold Camping.
But I just
And you don't need religion to provide shelter for battered
You
women
don't.
or for food to the hungry. There are secular organizations that will do that just as well or better.
well, and that's
You
fine,
don't.
and that's fine. But
I am shocked.
The church does not have a monopoly on good work.
well, no, and that's not the argument. It's just I mean, I don't care if it's church or not. Those are good deeds, and I can understand spiritually, individually, that a person would say, okay, these acts of helping somebody else where I cannot physically do it and give money would be looked upon, happily by, the Creator or whatever. But I don't know where, I mean, the division between that to, oh yeah, by the way, you're going to die next week. What are you going to do with that money?
That's what I'm saying. That's the whole point. Is that in the what's the harm argument, that the religious moderates just leave the door open for those guys who say, hey, that money we're going to give to the homeless, and it turns out the world's going to end, and your money would be better spent spreading our message, and you get a seat on the ride to the chariot. To
But
the mansion in the
I
sky.
have a hard time buying. And there's something else that we're missing other than just that, because the same argument can be said that people say, oh, video games, because you play violent video games, you're going to become a violent person because it opens the doors to violent natures in real life, which I don't believe. I don't think those people who do create violent acts who happen to play video games, there was another outside source, something mentally wrong with them, something that drove them to it, that made them create those acts. There is a piece of the puzzle missing that removes the dividing line between people giving money to a church to do good deeds to people giving money to a church or an organization because the world is ending.
Well, this is really the crux of, our society and Christianity in general. Christianity is and does function on the fact that the rapture is coming. And every, our population is 79% Christian,
What did you call it?
78% Christian.
2,000 years of any day.
Yeah, it really is 2,000 years of any day now, Paul was, when he was talking about the rapture in 1 Thessalonians, he says we, and the term he's using is he expected to be alive during the time of the rapture. His follower Theodos, who was the first person to lead a sort of, a rapture cult, was in 44 of the Common Era. And, Jesus in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, all the synoptics, he said, talking to people there, he said, some of you will not taste death before you see heaven. So, it really has been 2,000 years. And, in order to be a Christian, you have to take that stance that someday people are going to be just sucked up into heaven. So, most of these people were probably, nursed on Christianity to some point, and therefore are, their brain is already open to the idea.
But
all it takes is someone to come along and convince them
that
they've done the math.
But that's precisely the open door argument.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying but just because somebody came to you, just because you have that seed in your head already, that, yeah, sure. I believe, just saying, I believe that, yes, there's going to, Revelation is true. The book of Revelation is true. The things that are going to happen in Revelation, the battle will happen, we'll all be raptured, whatever. I can see people believing that, but not to the point where logic falls from it. I know the argument is it's illogical to think that all these magical things are going to happen, but I'm just saying, I don't know. There's a piece of puzzle that I'm missing in my head that I can't.
It wasn't all Christians that believed this. It was a small percentage of Christians who just absolutely lacked that function to realize that Harold Camping was full of shit.
Yeah.
You know, and like because they were already Christians, they already had that seed planted in there that the end's coming. The end's coming any day now.
So you're saying that he might be right. So to be on the safe side. It's kind of the atheist argument, but put to a Christian view.
I don't necessarily
or not the
think
atheist, but the Gnostic.
It's the Pascal's wager, but I think that there are certain people that are open to the suggestion, and they can be very easily swayed into believing that it's correct.
Yeah, people can be. There's a small percent. I guess that's all you need is a small percentage given a large amount, and then.
But it was $18 million of small percentage.
And that blows my mind.
It's marketing.
Yeah, their marketing guy was really good.
No shit.
But think of how when stuff is on sale, and people that are crazy about shopping, and it's just like they may never buy something from Bath and Body Works, but when they have that crazy sale where everything's like 80% off, they're like, it's never gonna happen again. I gotta get it today, even though they can get it all year round.
So it's just. So where do we lose our ability to suppress our impulses?
We don't.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe the people that believed in Harold Camping and his predictions, maybe they're pre-selected. Maybe they're self-selected. I'm not sure, but there's definitely some. I would hope that they're dealing with some cognitive dissonance right now. Like right now, they should be going, "Oh, maybe I was wrong. I don't know.
Well,
could be."
The owner of the place that I work, she told me the other day that her brother was a follower of the 1973, was it, the Mormons' Rapture?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that affected him so much, it made him pretty much crazy that he was here, that he still remained after the Rapture, and he still suffers from it today.
Well.
Yeah, that shit'll break your brain.
Yeah,
Like,
That person was probably had other mental health issues going on.
And that's what I'm saying. Earlier with it, like the video game causing violence, there is an element that in that person. It's not the game that did it. There's something already wrong that people just ignore the signs to, and I just don't understand why. I guess I'm not.
It's an interesting analogy with the video games, and I haven't quite formulated a response yet, but I'm thinking about it.
Okay. But maybe I'm looking at it wrong. I'm looking at it as the masses, and it's not really the masses who followed camping. But you said they were the second largest Christian broadcasting group.
they're one of the biggest, yeah.
So there's something that we're missing.
Well, like anything else, I think that the when you look at an issue like this, it turns out that it's complex and nuanced, and any sort of platitudes we can throw at it are going to be inadequate. But I think the video game analogy is interesting. I'm because at the same time, I don't think that violent video games beget violent behavior. I don't think that at all. And I don't think the literature shows that either. I mean, is that the case?
The Christian there is a huge movement trying to get violent video games banned here in the States, because their argument is that when a child is playing violent video games, when they're killing other people all the time, it teaches them that it's okay to kill. I mean, there are Revision 3, G4, all the game sites and stuff, Netcast and stuff. They're constantly doing programs about.
Yeah, but I think the difference would be that in the context of a video game, you're mashing buttons and steering around, stealing cars and slapping.
But it's fantasy,
right? That it's not real. Whereas in terms of religious belief, you're told that this is true.
Well,
I think that's an important distinction.
But even if you're told that it's true, even if there's an element that it doesn't matter what you're told that's true. There is a part of our brain that gives us independent thought should know, well, you may say it's true, but I'm still not giving you all my money.
What,
Yeah,
right?
but I mean, socialization is much more, and this is the sociology major in me talking. Like, socialization has a way bigger effect on how people react to things than their own personal agency. I mean, you would like to think individually people can make decisions and act on their own and do that, but
With a group
I mean,
mentality,
when
it's
you're
fucked up.
when you're raised with a whole group of people telling you that the end is nigh any day now, and I think Bob just noticed my shirt, which
I
has
just got your
Russell
shirt, dude.
on it.
I just got the shirt. That's awesome.
But I mean, when you're raised in a
That's
group,
funny.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
You witnessed
I was
that.
like,
yeah, that's really awesome.
You see the glow of realization on my face. I was like, oh, it's a T5. I get it.
But when you're raised in a group that tells you, everything. I mean, we're guided by social norms all day long. Based, I wear pants because I was raised.
But on July
to wear
15th, you
pants.
won't.
On July 15th, no, I'm gonna stockpile pants for the
Okay.
pants apocalypse.
What happens July 15th?
Don't you remember? I made a prediction.
I'm gonna stop making pants.
I thought, and on the 21st, I'm gonna die. Stop making predictions. I'm losing. I can't keep track.
I
of
can't.
all.
All you have to do is send money, and none of these things will happen.
I don't want to sell my soul.
But I mean, all the people who, they're raised. It's one thing to say people can think for themselves, but we do things every day without thinking, simply for the fact that we were brought up
Well,
to
yeah.
do those things.
Yeah, I mean, there are fundamentally core things. Let's talk about me being vegan. I grew up in Texas on a farm. We ate meat. That's all we did. I was brought up. I took the animals before school, helped my dad load them on the trailer, take them to the slaughterhouse, run around inside the slaughterhouse while they're doing the animals. Saw it firsthand. None of it affected me. None of it. Didn't care. You know why I didn't care? That's what they're here for.
Yeah,
That's
'cause
what
you
I'm
were socialized
taught.
that way.
That is it. And it wasn't until later in life when I went, whoa, what the fuck? that I changed it and became vegan. But that can be said the same with... I'm not saying that people shouldn't believe in God and do whatever. I don't care. What I am saying is, what the fuck does believing in God... What is the point of believing God? Does it say, okay, I believe, so therefore I don't have to think anymore?
Yeah, there's that.
I mean, because the moment it seems, and again, and I may be putting a broad stroke on this because it may just be a small percentage of people who actually believe that, truly deep down believe that the world's going to end today, tomorrow, 2012 or whatever. That they give money to people because they believe that the world is going to end. And that's, if you do that, there's something fundamentally wrong with your way of thinking, or there's something fundamentally wrong with the way I'm thinking because I don't understand it.
Well, to come back to you being vegan, we were both at one point professional animal rights activists. And what was the one biggest reason when you would talk to someone about animal rights that they would say they couldn't go vegan?
They don't like gas.
Bacon.
Oh wait, no.
No, because
I was going to say it was bacon.
it's just that's what they're here for.
Well, I would not say that's the
Really?
number one.
I think that was the number one that I got usually.
No, the number one is I love meat.
Of legitimate discussion points,
Yeah.
and not bacon.
Yeah. Yeah, but but those people who brought that question up, I would say more times than not, I don't have a percentage because I didn't ever remember everyone, but more times than not, anybody that came up to me and said, no, these animals are here for, this is what fundamentally we believe, this is how we have to survive. When I went vegan, which my mom is now vegetarian, veganish, she cried. Tears came from her eyes the day that I told her I was vegan. Because she goes, you're going to die. Because
But
that's that's good.
Isn't that idea of well, that's what they're here for? Isn't that based in scripture? I mean,
No, it's not based in scripture. We'll get
Are
into
you
that in
sure?
just a
Yeah,
second.
we can get
No,
into that.
we'll get into that in a
It's
second.
quasi.
But
It's arguable.
going back to that is the people who came up and said no, that's what they're here for. Once you, I mean, if they progressed in their thought to that level where they're sincerely asking it and not just doing it as a blow off, they usually cross over. May not happen right then, but I got an email from them later down the road or saw them at another tour date, and they were like, you know what? You're right. I'm vegetarian or I'm vegan or whatever step that they've made to it. But on the biblical sense, we're supposed to be fruitarians, not even vegetarians or vegans.
Are you sure about
Yep,
isn't
Genesis 1:28.
Yeah, but isn't I've heard people quote scripture regarding vegetarianism and veganism that they say like man has dominion over all the beasts.
What happens is
And I'm not saying the scripture's right.
Yeah, no.
I'm just
I think
saying
you
that's
are.
far from
Take off that shirt.
there are a few arguments on either side. First off, when in Genesis, when God creates Adam and Eve, in Genesis 1:28, I believe it might be 1:29, he tells humans that every fruit-bearing tree, that's what they're supposed to eat. Humans actually don't start eating meat until after the fall, and God doesn't grant it like a stay until after Noah. When he places the first mitzvot of the 613 mitzvot, it's not even mitzvot actually. Those are all in Leviticus, but the first dietary rules where you can't eat blood and stuff like that. But the word dominion is, it's a weird translation. These scriptures were never meant to be translated into English, which is a really
Thank you, Tree of Babel.
Yeah.
Or Tower of Babel.
Really unwieldy language, and dominion really just means lordship. The Queen of England has dominion over her subjects. It doesn't mean she eats them.
She should, though. It would be she would be so much cooler.
That'd be great.
Maybe she does. That's how she lives so long.
Oh, okay, all right. So it's just, I'm not trying to malign the decisions of anyone to be vegan or vegetarian, because I try to be vegetarian, I try to be vegan, and I'm pretty good about it. I do okay, but I don't advocate for it. Personally, I don't, because one, I don't know enough, and if I don't know enough something, I usually shut up about it. But I've heard other people in arguments, and it's usually from a very pious position that feels like they have the Bible behind them, and they say, well, the Bible says man shall have dominion over all beasts, and they use that as that excuse. And when you say well, that's what they're here for.
That's the extension of that.
As soon as somebody says that, my take on their argument is that it comes from that sort of divine right idea.
And that's where it comes. Anytime that you've had the argument, I'm sure you find this true, is that anybody says that's what they're here for, their basis of moral views of that's what they're here for is because a creator put them here for a purpose.
Right.
And that's all it is.
That implies a creator putting them here for that purpose.
And I would say 100% of the times that's what they mean. They just paraphrased.
Well, I reject that notion wholeheartedly. But at the same time, I think that we know enough about the world to confidently say that the way things function in the uncaring world of the laws of physics and biology and nature, that in order for something to live, something else has to die. That's entropy. That's the way the world works. Now, as enlightened, rational beings, we can choose what's gonna die. Will it be something that's sentient?
It will be Bob if we don't have
right. If I don't have our money on the 21st. Right, but that's how I approach it.
Yeah.
Is you can make that choice to are you gonna slaughter something with a a conscience and a sense of self, or will it be, in a plant or an animal, or a plant or vegetable? I don't know.
I mean, we're not the only one that makes that choice. The panda has made that choice as well.
Well, the panda, yeah.
That's not an argument.
Okay.
I was just I see his head go. Wah!
I mean, that's an interesting. Let's think about that a minute, right? A panda is a variety of bear. There's only so many bears, and it's kind of interesting to think about them. And so when you have the grizzlies in Colorado, when they're just like wholesale chowing down on salmon at that time of year, it is a big salmon pig out. Do you think those bears are worried about, well, am I hurting the salmon?
It's not in their interest to worry about that. It is in our interest as humans to worry about that. Not necessarily worry about if we're hurting the salmon, but definition of or worldview of, even community view of what are we hurting, because biologically we're hurting ourselves. Well,
I would say that the factory farm is hurting us, but
that is definitely.
But that's a different issue. I'm saying ethically, do you think the bear is worried about harming the salmon?
No,
not at all.
No,
not at all. And it's only because the bear only knows that, here's food, and this is an opportunity to get the food, and this is what's done.
And if he doesn't get the food, he's going to die.
Right. I mean, it's a matter of self-preservation. But we are different. We have, we happen to have been lucky enough to have evolved a consciousness that looks into the future a little bit. We can plan ahead, and we can see down the road, and we have a unique sense of self where we can project that sense of self into somebody else, whereas most animals don't seem to be able to do that very well.
It was like you talked about in one of the past episodes of This Non-Religious Life. You said that we have the unique ability of abstract thought.
Right, well, but it's not just abstract thought. We have a theory of mind.
Yeah.
And what we're capable of that other animals don't seem to be capable of is putting ourselves in their position. And so is the bear concerned about the salmon? No way, because at no time in the bear's thought is he thinking, wow, it sucks to be a salmon. But we can do that. We can project our own image into the other creature and say, like, man, I wonder what it's like to be the salmon. And that's where empathy comes from.
Yeah.
And I think that we're, I think that we have a unique position to make those ethical choices, and I think we should. I mean, imagine a world where no animal has to die to feed the world.
No.
That'd be great. But does that fly in the face of biblical scripture where animals are just put here to be food stuff?
It does fall. Well, that's not really biblical scripture. That is false interpretation of biblical scripture, because there's several references in the Bible, and I'm sure Ken knows more about it than I do. But the old saying in Romans, what is it? If you're weak. If your faith is weak in eating meat, then don't. Or I forget in Romans.
What Paul's talking about is in the early Christian church, in ancient Rome in general, in the ancient Roman, like Greco-Roman world, there wasn't a very easy way to get a hold of meat. Usually, the only way you'd be eating meat is if you went down to the temple where someone was slaughtering an animal, and then you bought the meat. Since Christianity at that time didn't have any actual temples, I mean, most of these people just met in someone's house. The only way for a Christian to get meat is if it had been dedicated to a pagan god and slaughtered at the temple. And after, especially after the fall of the temple in Jerusalem in 64, 66, when Titus conquers Jerusalem after the first Jewish revolt, I mean, there really was no way to get meat dedicated to Yahweh. And Paul was reacting to that, like, don't eat meat because it's been dedicated to other gods. It's similar to in the book of Daniel, when Daniel refuses to eat any meat while he's in prison because all the meat is being offered to Baal.
So they ate the meat that was used in the sacrifices?
Well, what would happen is an animal would get sacrificed. They would, they would dedicate the animal to whatever patron god during the feast day. They would kill the animal, burn a small amount, dump some blood out, just a small amount, and the rest of the animal
It's like in the hood, the 40. And
would get divided up. Yeah, exactly. It's like,
from my homies.
Dude, we're so white right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm from suburban Massachusetts. I can't get front.
Let us show your white boy cred.
So, the rest of the animal would end up getting split up amongst the community. And that's how people would... it was almost in the mentality of, these syncretic pagans, it was almost like sharing a meal with that deity. And that was...
See, I always thought that when they sacrifice the animals, like they throw the goat on the fire and burn him up.
No, it was actually... it was usually
like a
very,
big barbecue.
like, social thing.
Yeah.
People would come and they would end up getting pieces of the animal to bring back with them.
See, I thought that, but the point of the sacrifice, though, is that, if everybody's eating it, it's not much of a sacrifice, really, is it?
Well,
No,
I mean, even today.
Communal redistribution of wealth, really. It was just to pay homage to, you would take... usually it was the best of the flock that year, like, the biggest bull or the youngest, most, like, perfect lamb or whatever that would get sacrificed. So in a way, they were kind of hurting their herds because they were getting rid of what was probably the best breeding stock amongst their animals. But at the same time, that's how they rationalized being one with their deity.
And the same thing happens today with the Hare Krishna. They are not predominantly meat-eating community, but you can eat meat if it's been offered, because they have in their temple places where you set food and offer it to their deity, and after it's been offered, you can consume it even if you don't eat meat because it's been blessed and the essence of the animal has been taken out of it.
Is that what my girlfriend calls freegan?
Freegan.
Yeah, pretty much. That was the birth of it, I guess.
Vegan unless it's free.
And
They're
then-
not really vegans though.
Yeah.
They eat a lot of ghee and butter, but
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, but they don't
Essentially,
eat flesh.
yeah.
But if it's offered to their deity, then they're able to. I mean, so it's not uncommon for sacrifice. I guess it's not a sacrifice, but an offering to be eaten by their followers.
I think Christy sums it up the best when she talks about veganism and everything. She falls back to the Pulp Fiction stance where she says, "Sewer rat might taste like pumpkin pie, but I ain't gonna eat the filthy motherfucker." I think that's her fallback position.
That's awesome. I like pumpkin pie though.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, all right, man. All right, veganism aside and everything.
Back to the topic at hand. How much of a douchebag Harold Camping is?
Did anybody see anybody get raptured? Because I didn't.
No, I was trying to find dry ice. I wanted to leave shoes around town with dry ice in them so that they would smoke.
And Miley brought up a good point because I told her that you wanted to do that.
It's such a good plan.
But you can't. Miley said you could buy dry ice anywhere. You just could go into a grocery store when she was a kid and just buy dry ice. I never knew.
Yeah, I have no idea where to get dry ice.
I know where you can get it now, but you have to drive a long way.
That would have been a good one.
It works so good in my head.
Next Rapture.
Next Rapture.
Save that one for
It's
next
happening.
Rapture.
Well, what we can do is after we kill Bob, if we don't get the donations, we can take his shoes the
Say
nice
he was
little
raptured.
zombie popcorn shoes that he's wearing that he got
They
from
are
the zombie
swell.
popcorn shoes. And we can put. Yep.
Uh-oh.
Well, that's a phone call. All right.
Was that your mom?
No, it wasn't my mom. She is listening to not this show, but she listens to the this non-religious life more than this one though.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Well, this is almost like a non-religious life tonight.
This
Like a
episode
2-hour
is, yeah.
3D version.
Yeah, this episode is. So we should 1 hour of Harold
So we
camping.
gotta talk about like movies and shit. Like,
Well-
so we're right. 6:01. We're doing shots in the bar,
Yeah.
and my friend starts acting like he's floating away. He's like, "Oh God, hold me down." He's like, "I want to see Captain America. Keep me here."
That's awesome. 'Cause that's your main concern.
I know, right?
You have to see it.
I don't want to be raptured away. I want to see Captain America on the 22nd.
Well, another sign of the rapture is a bit of information that I read today that Seth MacFarlane, the creator of Family Guy,
Was raptured?
yeah, he was raptured.
Oh,
No, he's done the next step to being raptured.
No way that guy's getting raptured.
No, but what he's doing is rebooting the Flintstone series.
Really?
And he's going to bring Flintstones back to TV, but in the style of
Family Guy?
his,
Yeah.
you know.
Huh.
So I don't know what
I
to.
don't know if that'd be funny.
I
or
don't
not.
know.
You know who was raptured, though?
Who?
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Oh, he was. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is
Poor Macho Man.
we were at Path the other day, which is a vegan restaurant that will soon open again next month.
I heard
Next
it was
month.
June 1st, wasn't it?
Yeah, June 1st is going to be opening up, and they are a sponsor of this show as always. But we were there the other day and just talking to everybody, and somebody brought up Randy Savage, and I said he cut line, and people went, "What?" I go, "The rapture's not until tomorrow,"
Yeah.
and the room fell silent. Like, seriously, you're going to get offended for me saying that.
Well, my friend Mikey said maybe he was raptured early so that he could be heaven's bouncer.
Yeah, everybody's saying that. There's like, it's not heaven unless Macho Man's up there going, snap into the pearl gates. You know? We should not talk ill about the dead.
No, wait. I'm not talking ill about Randy Savage, dude. He was awesome. He was great. He was like my favorite villain ever.
He was him and Roddy Piper.
Here's the thing about Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper went over to the light side for a while. There was a time when Roddy Piper was a good guy. Randy Savage, never a good guy.
What about the Slim Jim?
Always the villain. Always the villain. Well, he made the Slim Jim commercials like way after his wrestling career was over. But his entire wrestling career, he was never, ever the good guy. Because you know how like in wrestling, and they have terms for it where there's like sayings in wrestling about like how you take turns being the good guy and the bad guy, and in the world of wrestling, there's a name for the villain and there's a name for the hero, and they take turns. It's like role playing, and Randy Savage never took the role of the good guy. He was always the bad guy. He was always the villain, and he did a fantastic
I never
job.
knew he was a villain.
He was always a villain. When was he not a villain?
I don't know. I didn't follow it.
Everybody liked him, but he was always the villain. He was always the bad guy.
Really? I never knew this. Only thing I knew about wrestling was the Von Erichs, because in Texas, back in their day, everybody, it was like NASCAR or something. Everybody had a Von Erich t-shirt. And I knew about the WW whatever it was back then, the cartoon with Hulk Hogan and
That was
Lou
WWF.
Was it?
Then it was WWF.
And then and I know that Roddy Piper, Macho Man, Andre the Giant, they all went off to movie careers, and that's all I know about it.
Remember when Macho Man was Bonesaw in the first Spider-Man movie?
Was he really?
He was Bonesaw.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Bonesaw's ready.
That's funny.
Yeah, he was. He was in the So he taught a valuable Spider-Man lesson by kicking the crap out of Peter Parker.
You got to.
I mean, I was like Parker ultimately won that fight, but you know, he lumped him up pretty good.
I'm gonna check to see if Brother Mike is.
Yeah, man. See where?
Nope.
Brother? Nope.
Oh.
I'm curious what the Family Radio website's doing now, like what they're streaming.
We should. Well, let's find out. Tell about. I don't know if we actually. What?
Do it on this computer or something.
No, I'm doing it on this one.
All right.
Here goes the broadcast.
I have to test it. It's been killing
You
me
told
though.
us not to do it.
I know, but it's been killing me the whole show, seeing if I can get away with it. But tell us about what Family Radio is. Why I'm pulling it up.
No, it's just they yeah. So all right. So Family Radio, they gave all of their employees Friday off with pay, which I think was very nice.
Very nice.
And they're prepared for the tribulation. They have secular employees who fully expect to be to work on Monday, and and they have canned content, like prepared content that they have ready to go to get us through the tribulation. And
Well, if you need to get through the tribulation, all you have to do is listen to the Zombie Popcorn.
and their
Nerdcast.
countdown to the rapture is at 0. So,
It is.
but their site, it's a little hard to get to sometimes because it's seeing a lot of traffic. I don't know,
Yeah,
man.
their site looks like it's not working at the moment.
You got to try it a couple times. It really it takes a couple stabs at it before it connects. Because
Sometimes if you use, like, the only way I could get in this morning
You
was,
put the English.
when I put familyradio.com /en for an English site, and it gave me sort of like a backdoor in.
there it is.
Up. It's up.
yeah, they're still going strong, man.
Let me see if I can. I'm gonna let it finish loading, and then once it finishes loading, I'm gonna see if what they're broadcasting.
I thought we had a number for Brother Mike. I thought we had like something we could call him, like call his.
We
cell
just
phone or
have
some
him on
shit.
Skype.
Damn it!
And email. That's the only way we got him. Bible
Can we send-
guarantees.
Can we send him a snarky email at least?
We'll send him the show.
Hey, jackass, how's the rapture going? We're
He was
still
he was
here.
a nice guy.
Love zombie
What?
popcorn.
While I'm waiting for this site to finish loading, what is Project Jonah and like? I know what Project Caravan is.
I don't know what Project Jonah is.
You
Let's
do?
find out.
I do not. No, I do not.
Huh.
I'm waiting for their countdown to go like from 0 to boop, negative
No,
1.
they're counters.
The calendar's gone.
Yeah,
it's
it
in
says days left and there's nothing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like Dave's left, it's 0. I wanted
Oh,
to say negative 1.
But judgmentday.com, they spin off the official site of the Family Radio. If you click on their button that says free materials, because they were giving out bumper stickers, it says, due to the rapture, we are no longer filling orders.
What rapture?
I was like, motherfucker, I wanted to, but I thought it was
I want a
funny.
bumper sticker.
I do too.
See how Judgment Day, May 21, 2011, and they have a little counter 00. I'm
Wait,
waiting
wait,
for it
wait.
to tick over to -1.
Wait. You know what this is?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey,
You over here?
what's up? Yeah, you're on there.
You'll never guess where I'm calling from.
A church.
Heaven.
No, my apartment.
What?
Yeah. I didn't make it.
Did the wedding get raptured?
Yeah, all of them because they're Dutch. They all went. We were like, shit, we're going home early.
Wow.
Yeah, I could have got in, but I went to that temple, so it's like a strike against me.
Oh yeah. Well, that's cool.
Yeah. So, any good rapture news?
We were doing
Did you get a
rapture
hold of anyone
shots.
else?
What's that?
Did you get a hold of anyone else?
No.
Of Reverend Mike, or you try calling any of them?
He's not signed on to Skype, so we can't do brother Mike.
He wussed out.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it totally sucks. But what are we gonna do? So it's good to hear that you're not raptured. Yay, Paul is on the show. He's okay. Everybody's safe. I was expecting this call to be the line dance song.
No, because this wedding was an older couple, and they actually had like a jazz band and all this stuff.
So it was actually
none of that.
it was actually pleasant, huh?
Yeah, it really was. It really was. And these people were from Holland, and they had to be the nicest fucking people like in the world. I've always heard that people say that Holland is the happiest country in the world, and I see why. They're just like all like, hello.
Awesome.
Yeah. And they're all really tall, so we felt really fat and wide.
Felt like fat Americans.
Yeah, there were a couple people that were like Scandinavian there. We're just like, oh. It's so fucking ugly.
That's funny.
So,
You're like,
so did you see any
In a
raptures?
non-gay way, your bone structure is totally magnificent.
you don't have that European feel.
Yeah. They're all built like tin, but a foot taller and with piercing blue eyes and blonde hair. It's like, son of a bitch, I'm fat. All right, well, I guess you guys can get back to your regular show.
Yeah, we're not doing anything now. Oh shit!
No.
Wait a minute, we lost Paul.
Sorry, Paul.
Wait, are you still there?
Hello.
Hello. I totally threw the phone across the room.
Awesome. Well, this must be a really slow show. This conversation.
No, it's going good.
precedent.
It's going good. I think it's an excellent show. Although we miss your rapier wit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll be back not next week, but the following
Woohoo!
to, be a jackass. All right. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, later.
Bye bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Well, it's good to hear from Paul. He's been out for pretty much this whole entire month, which is sad. But we got him back, so that was nice to have him on there. I was expecting that to be the line dance song.
Yeah.
Because that's normally what he does. He calls in with that. Cool. I don't know what we were talking about. Oh, we were
No idea.
pulling up the radio.
I'll be right back.
Let me see what they don't have new audio on. Earlier today they had where I could actually click on the radio. Cause they have TV and they have radio, but
Well, yeah, you sent me the TV link. You said
Yeah.
that their TV was still streaming.
yeah, but you have to pay fucking $9 to watch.
What?
Yeah. Cause I'll pull it up on. I don't want to do that.
That's horseshit.
It really is, but what are you gonna do? So
Pay $9 to watch poorly put together.
when you can do it for free, just turn it in by
right.
the zombie
Just hear 'em
popcorn.
here, man.
It's not poorly
We
done.
might be amateurish, but at least we're free.
Yeah. Their stuff is not working. Their site keeps coming out on it.
I'm sure they're flooded with
They're
with bandwidth. It's
Yeah.
just like all getting eaten up. Everyone's linking to them and going to the site and checking everything.
yeah.
You know.
It's good marketing on that part. I mean, that's
Yeah, too bad they don't have any Google ads up on their site, huh? They're making money.
like zombie. Well, we were on Brother Mike's site till he
Yes.
took it down.
Yeah.
Why did you take it down, Brother Mike? We could be reaping the benefits.
You know, like I'm gonna email him tomorrow. Totally gonna email him and just ask him what happened.
Oh,
I was
Brother
looking
Mike?
forward to it. Yes, Brother Mike.
Brother Mike.
You know, like we were hoping you were gonna be on Skype. Doing something. But
Doing
he sent
something.
out an email yesterday saying, maybe it was a couple days ago, just saying that like he was gonna be spending the last day with his family because apparently his family doesn't believe.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, his wife and kids, apparently they aren't believers. He's going to be spending the day with them before he gets raptured up.
Well, he does have a smart family then.
What are you saying? He's the dummy of the bunch?
No, I'm not saying that at all. There was an article I read yesterday about I think it was CNN that did the article. They interviewed a family and they're like, "What are you gonna?" Oh, no, actually, it was Friday, and they're like talking about what the family did, and they pretty much locked themselves in the house and was with their whole family, and there was a lot of crying.
And a lot of crying.
You know, if you walked in on that, would be very awkward.
You know, here's my attitude about that. Do you smell that? See this beer? Delicious. Do you smell the air? It is so sweet. You know what it's sweet with? It is sweet with the odor of smug. It is. The air is rife with smug because how often do you get to have that rock solid, I fucking told you so?
But it's a little bit different because the whole world gets to do it.
I know it makes it even better. It's like a global I told you so.
I never wanted to be right. I don't know. I mean, it's good. So Seth MacFarlane is going to be doing the Flintstones.
Yeah, come on, man. Flintstones without the context of the Honeymooners, I don't think it'll be as funny.
I don't know. It's just going to be the Family Guy.
Yeah, it's
Right.
the Family Guy with dinosaurs. Yeah.
Because, Dino's going to be fucked up.
Well, isn't Peter Griffin already kind of like the Family Guy, right? He's a big fat guy. He's got a good-looking wife. Then he's got the neighbor next door. I mean, come on, Family Guy is almost Flintstones already.
Yeah, it really is.
It definitely fits in that archetype, I think. Yeah, the TV archetype of the family with the 2.5 kids and the next door neighbor that's sort of weird.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be weird because he's gonna make it really bad. He is.
Man, come on, man. I understand he wants to branch out. I get that you want to try different
That's
things.
not branching out.
But like, I don't know, man. Do different things on Family Guy. Don't just rehash Flintstones because it won't be as funny.
But it's not doing new things. Doing Flintstones. It's Family Guy, but set in the Stone Age.
I don't know. I like Family Guy. I think Family Guy is biting satire.
Yeah, no, it's good. I enjoy watching it.
And so it would make sense that Seth MacFarlane wouldn't get raptured up because he's an atheist, isn't he?
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, he would have to be the stuff that they do on that show.
No, money talks. So you don't have to be anything.
Yeah, right.
No, just figure out which group he hasn't insulted yet.
So all right. Like putting out atheist statements. Do you think that's going to help him? Like raise $18 million.
Yeah, because controversy sells.
Much like Harold Camping did this year.
2009. Do you think Madonna would wear lingerie on stage if it wasn't going to make her a lot of money?
No, not at all.
Well, good. And so putting out atheist statements is going to bring in.
Yeah, but apparently putting out the crazy apocalypse statement will get you $18 million.
Apparently doing anything that we're not doing is going to make you 18.
I just can't. How do you get $18 million? Who believes that bullshit?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I need to find that missing link. It's like that makes people go, yeah, I'm going to give you my money.
God, what could we do?
I know what we can do. We're talking about it after the show. But anyway, speaking of $18 million. That's a lot of money.
Talking about Jason making up numbers.
Yeah. James Cameron and Michael Bay sat down and did a video promoting the new upcoming Transformers movie.
I've read some early reviews of Transformers.
The Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
Or the Dark of the Moon. I don't know why we say Dark Side. Yeah. Which is shot in native 3D using the Cameron Pace equipment, which was used in Avatar. So this is going to be awesome. I'm excited about it.
Reviews so far that it is eye-poppingly good.
It has to be.
It is. It's supposed to be.
Michael
very
Bay fell in love with 3D doing this movie.
Yeah, and like story and script wise, it's my understanding he got rid of all the crap that made the second movie so awful, and just got down to brass tacks. giant robots fighting each other in 3D.
Which is fucking awesome.
That is all you need. You know, there are movies that come out and you expect certain things. You know, Transformers. All the fuck I want from Transformers is giant robots that turn into cars and tanks and jets fighting each other.
Hell yeah, in 3D.
Have
That's
you
it.
seen? I think it was. Holy shit! Okay, so this is germane, but I can't believe I didn't think of it until now. Somebody had like a side by side comparison of Jesus versus Optimus Prime, and it was fucking great. It was really funny. Like it was like, what could Jesus do? Like raise from, like come back from the dead. Optimus Prime did that too.
Oh yeah, he did.
And then like it had that saying about like Optimus Prime said that like freedom is the right of all sentient beings. And no lie, true story. I went and saw that movie with one Christy Griffin, and when Optimus Prime said that, she stood up in the theater, and she said, "Optimus Prime's vegan. What up, bitches?"
She's my hero now.
And pointed.
She's my hero now. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then she hated the second movie just like me.
Well, there was a reason why everybody hated the second movie. I think we talked about that. Well, because it sucked, but Michael Bay explained why it sucked so bad. And it was because it was during the writer's strike. I think you said this.
They filmed the CGI sequences before a script was written.
Yeah. And so they had to,
no wonder it sucked. I really want the next movie to be really good.
Well, according to James Cameron and Michael Bay, it's got to be phenomenal. James Cameron would not sit down with Michael Bay if the 3D sucked. Yeah. And that's all that matters.
No, I want it to be good, man. And I'll forgive it enough. I like the first one enough that I will forgive the second movie and shell out the dough to see the third one in 3D.
Miley and I saw Pirates of the Caribbean 3D this past weekend.
I heard that was a little lackluster.
I don't know. I've never seen the other ones.
Oh. The other ones are pretty good.
Are they?
Yeah, they're not bad. It's a fun ride.
I liked the first one. I saw the second one. I never cared enough to see the third.
Is this the third?
It's the fourth.
This is the fourth.
They get progressively worse.
I don't know. There were some really great 3D moments in that film. Like 3.
Like 3.
Everything else was just all right. I mean, it was done well. I lost the internet.
But did you like it?
It was a movie. I mean,
it was a free movie.
Yeah. Which is fine. I mean, it was a good movie. I had fun with it. What I love about going to these event screenings, and y'all need to stay close to the site, zombiepopcorn.com, because we're going to be announcing our next giveaway soon, and it's going to be the biggest giveaway that we've done so far for event screenings. But anyway, the reason I like these event screenings is because the people who go to these shows are so happy and so relaxed that everybody's having fun. There's nobody there being a prick or anything. When we went to see the screening, there were people dressed up as pirates, singing and being pirates and stuff. When we were in the theater, they stood up in front of the screen before the movie started, singing and shit. There was like a volleyball or beach ball type thing being hit around the theater. People were just having a great time, and it just totally made a great environment for seeing a movie because everybody was having a great time. I love it. All right, that's by far you can see the worst movie ever made, but in that environment, it would be fun.
Well, that's the kind of event cinema that everybody likes. I mean, that's why you stand in line for 5 hours to be pissed off.
Oh my God,
Phantom Menace.
I had somebody text me at 5 o'clock. The screening was at 7:30. Had a guy text me at 5 o'clock and say, "I'm in line, and it's long."
Yeah. Well, I told people when they picked up their tickets that I was like, yeah. Usually I say get there an hour early, and this one's going to be big. So
This one's gonna be big. Yeah.
get there early.
This one
But
was,
that's fun though, man. I don't mind. I don't
I don't-
mind being part of that like kind of community. You know that like it is because that's what it is. Like standing in line, you're your own little community for an hour and a half or however long it is.
It was
you wait.
yeah, it's fun. I love it, and I think the next screening, or the next one that I know that we're doing, is going to be even it's going to be awesome.
Are you Googling pictures of Jesus riding a velociraptor?
Yeah, I totally am.
I just looked over and I was like,
Yeah.
There's something wrong with that.
Because a friend of mine on Facebook was like, they were trying to be I don't know what the word. They're trying to be funny, and they're like purposely confusing the word raptor and raptor.
Oh yeah, there's a website
And I thought there'd be raptors, and then I found this picture of
Jesus holding the.
but it's from some kind of like it's somebody's like Bible coloring book, and it's some kind of creationist thing, and it says it has a picture of Jesus riding a raptor, and it says, even though we know dinosaurs survived the flood on Noah's Ark, we don't know if Jesus ever rode them. And then it says, but he probably did. And it's a picture of Jesus like riding a velociraptor, like it's like he's Trigger and he's the Lone Ranger.
That's awesome.
my favorite Jesus is Rapture Jesus.
Yeah, I've seen that. There's a website now that's Rapture. I forget what this site is, but it's all based on that. So it's pretty damn funny.
Is it the one where Jesus' head is the
Is
raptor?
a raptor, exactly.
I think that's funny because it's funny like where his head is a raptor. But I really like there's a picture where somebody has taken the Jesus photo, and I think in the original picture he's holding a lamb, like a little.
Oh
baby
yeah,
lamb.
I think it's on the
But
Facebook
instead of the lamb, he's holding like a little baby velociraptor.
Yes.
Yeah, that's on Facebook of This Non-Religious Life.
That's like one of my favorite Photoshop.
That is
One of
funny.
my favorites is of Jesus. It's one of those like old icon style paintings of Jesus, and his head is a raptor, and it's a quote from Luke, but they change it. It's like, and Jesus cried out, "Rawr, rawr."
I don't
And
get
thus
it.
he got all the bitches.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's funny, man. I could giggle at that all day.
He's just looking.
That's
at
like I've had that picture on my phone for I don't know a year and a half, and every time I see it, I'm like, oh, yeah, it's funny, it's good. It makes my day.
Awesome. Speaking of nerds,
What?
Which we are.
I resent your implication, sir.
you mean you resemble what?
I resemble your implication, sir.
NASA has started getting fancy with their photographs of their crew members. And I guess they're trying to reach out and be cool with kids. Because they've released a huge, there's 15 photos altogether of the crew from Expedition 21, which was the 21st long crew flight of the International Space Station. They stayed in the International Space Station for 183 days. So if you follow NASA or you know anything about NASA or astronauts or their crews, they always do press kits of each individual's, they're just typical Olin Mill-esque style photos with them in, pseudo uniforms standing in front of American flag with their, helmet or something. They've changed it all up. They've become more hip. They've actually have the crew dressed up, as you can see. Oh, that's not it. Why isn't it there? Let me pull it up. Yeah, as you can see here. Yeah, I did fuck that. They're dressed up in Star Trek characters, and there's another poster where they're the Beatles. They take a whole bunch of different movie posters and create it with.
And by when you said they wanted to make their all the astronauts more hip with kids, which you meant was 30-something-year-olds who live in their parents' house.
Well, they're already cool with that, but Star Trek is actually making a comeback.
Hey,
so.
look, man. We just talked about a picture of Jesus riding a dinosaur. Yeah, we need to popularize science a little bit, and that was in a children's coloring book. Yeah, we need to popularize science a little bit.
I'm fine with popularizing science. I mean, like we talked about Bill Nye on a previous program.
Yeah.
Don't hate on the Trek, man. Don't hate.
I love Star Trek. It's fine. It's cool. I love good science.
As I said before starting this segment, speaking of nerds,
you know, but I'm just saying, like, what kids are into, and what.
No, you got to, you have to give them credit for this, even though it may not be centralized for the youth. This compared to their previous photos that they gave out.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. When I was in the Young Astronauts, okay, we're gonna geek out here. When I was in the Young Astronauts,
astronaut?
yes,
That's
Really?
awesome.
yes, my dream was to be
Did
an
you go
astronaut.
to space camp?
No, I didn't go to space camp.
damn it.
I know, I was pissed, but no, we did rockets, and anyway. The shit they gave us, because they would send us all the promotional photos and the patches and all the shit, and they were something like a 40-year-old man did. They're just like crap photos. If I was in the Young Astronauts and I got this, even though I wasn't in Star Trek, I'd be like, that's kind of cool. These,
No, that's awesome.
yeah. Because it gives an element to these people where you're like, especially if you're a kid, where you're like, wow, they're almost like, famous, or, it gives an element that you would want to look into. I mean, look at the space station. Have you seen real photos of the space stations? It's boring.
It's boring.
But you have this, and you're like, what the fuck? You got to check that shit out.
No, I think that's awesome. I mean, we should popularize science that way.
Yeah. I think it's great. I mean, I if you want to see the rest of them, I'm not going to put them all up on here because there's 15 of them. Just go to NASA's website and do a search for Expedition 21, and you will find them. Or you can just do a Google search and do NASA Star Trek photos, and they'll come up with all of them.
Dude,
But-
astronauts are badass.
No shit, they are.
It makes me sad how, like, growing up, astronauts were awesome, but no one gives a shit about astronauts anymore.
True.
Well,
What makes me upset about the whole thing is in 2012, there's a 3D movie coming out, and it's a documentary, and it's a space documentary, which I love.
Are you talking about Apollo 18?
No. This is something that really makes me upset. I'm happy that they're doing it because it's going to raise awareness to it because people don't know about it. But the movie is called Space Junk, and it's talking about all the space junk that's hovering around our Earth. And if I remember the quote properly, is NASA right now is currently tracking over 20,000 pieces of space junk.
Yeah.
And there is over 47% that they can't track. They just don't have the technology to do it. And it's so bad that they did a artist interpretation rendering of what the Earth looks like with all the space junk now and what it's going to look like in 2012 and and then several years later. It's insane. It looks like, let me paint a picture for you. I don't know if you've ever been into somebody's house or watched Hoarders or that show where they go in and clean up.
Hoarders will make you clean your apartment.
Okay. Think of Hoarders, or those moments that you've been into somebody's house and you were afraid to touch anything and you wanted to be sprayed down with a water hose as soon as you walked out, or when you watched Hoarders, how that made you feel, and multiply that by 20.
It's not that bad out there.
It is. It looks
That's
horrible.
one person's interpretation.
No. This is multiple.
Based upon an extrapolation.
What? True. Okay, let's take out the fact of the photo and just go by what NASA says is right now that they can only track because they don't have the technology to do anymore. 20,000 pieces of space junk.
Yeah, but I mean, like, that sounds like a lot.
It looks like a lot. Even NASA's pictures from it is a lot, and it's going to progressively get worse and continue to
20,000
grow.
is not that lot. That is not a lot.
The fact that how many people do you think have been in space? How many humans have been in space? Small handful compared to the population, right?
Yeah, right.
And we already have landfills.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I see where you're getting at, but all right. But here's the thing, right? It turns out space is vast, and it's not like there's an ecosystem out there to fuck up. It's not like you're gonna disturb some fragile rainforest ecosystem. That stuff just hovers around in low Earth orbit, and then it burns up. The real threat is
But it doesn't burn up. It falls and crushes people's houses. And
no, it doesn't crush anybody's house. It falls and then it burns up the atmosphere.
Go look at Siberia. Look at all the space junk that's falling on the farms out there.
That's because the Russians designed their rockets to land on hard ground. I don't know why they did that, but the Soyuz rockets,
this is not talking about this is space junk that they find that has come down, re-entered, not determined.
Really big.
No. But anyway, regardless,
the real threat was that space junk you're talking about is that it hits like a vital satellite that messes up your cell phone reception,
or the space station,
or the space station,
and even if it doesn't burn up,
or the space shuttle, or something else like that. But
the fact that we are such that we here on Earth are pissed off when we see cockroaches. We are filthy fucking creatures that we haven't even been in space. That a fraction of the population hasn't even been into space.
I don't think it's as bad as you.
It doesn't
make it out.
The fact that it's there, it could be 100 pieces. The fact that it's there is just fucking ridiculous. Any alien that's gonna come and go like, no, I'm not landing there. Fuck that. Give me the sun before you give me that. We are filthy fucking animals. I would eat a pig before I would eat a human after seeing. It's nasty.
Yeah, the space junk is it's an issue, but I don't think it's an issue for the reasons.
Here, I'm pulling it up. Fuck.
You're saying.
I'm gonna find the information.
Damn it! I'm gonna research about space junk.
Oh my god, it's insane. It pisses me off. It's like we think we're such great fucking creatures, and the fact that we have not even been to space as a whole. There's only a fraction of a small handful of people who've been to space, and there's more junk in space than there are in the town that I live in, of people that I live in. People in this town that
20,000 is not a big number when you consider the entire planet.
It doesn't. Still 20,000 pieces of huge.
They're not huge things. They're tracking small things.
No, wait. Let me show you. Let me show you some of the space junk that has come back in. It's not just small stuff. Yes, there are small stuff, but there are huge shit that has come back in, and that has not. It's so big that it has not burned up when it does re-entry.
Are you sure they're not talking about like rocket stages that are like salvoed off before it gets into orbit, or are you talking about something that's been in low Earth orbit for 5 years?
It's been there it's like
up on its way in.
Yeah, I'm talking about stuff that
I think that's. I don't think that's necessarily true.
You think NASA's making it up for?
No, I don't think they're making it up. I think you're misinterpreting.
They need funding.
Yeah.
You know, when Family Radio is making more money
this is NASA's wait.
National Aerospace.
Here, I'm going to put this up so everybody
Orbital
can see
debris.
This is NASA's website of orbital debris program. This is the space junk orbit. This is how much they're saying the space junk is in there. Let me pull that. Let me get a better screen grab for everybody. Here we go. Getting into nerd talk. How did we even get on space junk?
I don't know. You brought it up.
You got really excited about NASA. Because you were talking about when you were a little astronaut or whatever.
I want to hear more about you being a junior astronaut.
It was a young astronaut, motherfucker.
Young astronaut, okay. Young astronaut, junior Birdman. I lose track.
You can get the quarterly news for the orbit.
I thought I had a nerdy childhood. I was
Okay, if you want
U.S. robotics team.
let me tell you something. I was in Young Astronaut, and then I was in the Silver Air Patrol, which is an auxiliary of the Air Force, and then we worked to get our pilot's license. And we also did search and rescue missions. We flew in KC-135s over Texas, refilled B-1 bombers and F-16 while in flight. We got to run the boom, and back before Lockheed existed in Texas, it was Carlsbad Air Force, not Carlsbad, Yeah, it was Carlsbad Air Force Base, but it was in Texas. And so I did all that. I was really big into planes, rockets, and working on becoming a pilot so I could become an astronaut.
Can you name all members of Mercury 7?
Another time, my friend, another time.
You just lost 5 nerd points.
Yes. I'm sorry. But anyway, so we'll talk about this off the air because this is just going to get way into nerd fest. But this is real quick. I want to.
Yeah, put up the picture. Let's see it.
And this is from NASA. This is the low Earth orbital for the region of space, which is 2,000 km of the Earth's surface and its most concentrated area of orbital debris. Let me get the top. This what that is. And that's what they say in the orbital debris looks like.
Yeah, but in that picture, all of those little bits of debris are represented by 1 pixel. And on the scale of the Earth like that, 1 pixel is the size of a freaking freight train. And they could be tracking a wrench. You know what I mean? Like it's not that big.
Yeah, I would have qualms with the scale of the dots. I think it's a little misleading. I mean, 20,000 is a lot of things. It's a big number, but I mean, just looking at the scale, each one of those pixels is going to be way bigger than a freight train. You're talking about the size of several city blocks.
Right, and they could be right, but now that city block is really representative of a wrench or a bolt, a threaded fastener or something. Do you remember when the one chick that was a woman?
But why does the size matter? The fact that there's that much shit. It doesn't matter if it's the size of a dime or size of a car.
It's going to circle around in low Earth orbit, and then it's going to burn up, and it's going to be nothing.
Yeah, well, I mean,
yes, it
makes it look more cluttered than it actually is.
Well, I mean, that's what we'll talk about.
How will you do? They need funding.
Yeah, no, they do need funding. It hurts my heart that they don't have the funding that they should have.
Family Radio gets $18 million in
2009.
And we had to scrap the shuttle program. We had to cancel the shuttle program.
This was in Georgetown, Texas. This is a Delta second stage stainless steel propellant that landed in Georgetown, Texas. It was space junk that re-entered. You're saying it's not that big. It's pretty big. Didn't burn up.
It looks pretty big.
But anyway, we'll talk about that because they have the re-entry survival.
If it was that many things in low Earth orbit, we'd be.
They had to move the space shuttle.
Dying every day.
Well, we read about frequently how they have to keep moving the space station because of the amount of debris that comes in close contact.
All right, man. You are more likely to be raptured into heaven today than to be hit by a falling bit of space debris
I don't care.
tomorrow.
My argument's not worrying about. It'd actually be kind of awesome. I mean, because people who shoot bullets up in the air in celebrations don't. I guess they don't understand that gravity's going to take effect of that bullet.
However, that bullet will not kill someone.
I will kill that person.
Because falling bullet, sure, it goes up really fast, but on coming down, it's only going to reach its terminal velocity, which for a bullet is about 2 miles per hour.
Right, you get plinked on the head, you go, ow.
It's like the myth of dropping a penny off the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
Terminal velocity for a penny.
High five for science, man.
It's like,
But again, I'm not worried about.
That's about the speed of me walking down.
I mean, because even NASA says the threshold below in which probability of a human casualty is very low. And I don't care about that. I'm not worried. I'm just like, what makes me mad is the fact that we actually, NASA, anybody, there's even the topic of there's junk already out in space.
There's junk on the moon now.
Well, I know, and
That pisses me off, too.
it pisses me. It's just, what the fuck?
It's like that asshole that walks through the snow first thing in the morning.
That was me once. I got yelled at.
You wake up, you're ready to take a nice picture. You're like,
Fuck. Who fucked this up already?
Yeah, but anyway.
You and your footprints.
It just sucks.
And your small step for man.
It's
stop
just
playing
dumb.
golf.
But yeah.
No, it's irritating because we really are a filthy
We are
species.
fucking filthy.
And we don't think about it. We're just like, we.
And I'm not saying I'm not
throw something out the window.
not included in
rather
this.
than-
I've done my share of.
Of course.
Being-
I'm alive. That's probably enough.
Yeah.
I use a public sewer. That's gross. But it's in the grand scheme of things, space related. I think it's a fairly low priority.
I like the way Douglas Adams put it. Space is big. Really, really big.
Yeah, no, it's like Restaurant at the End of the Universe when they put the total perspective vortex on Zaphod.
Yeah, that was great, right? The
That
total
was a
vortex,
nerd
that's
moment.
awesome.
I don't know. It still pisses me off.
It's I mean I understand your ire at the idea that there's space junk. I get it. But point is that there's bigger things to worry about on the planet, and
I'm not starting a campaign and trying to raise money.
but I mean, but my point is that so what? Shit's floating in space. It's not like it's fucking anything up. There's no fragile ecosystem in space that we're gonna mess up. There's nothing in space. That's why it's space.
That we know about.
Sometimes,
Just think of
man.
it as
I'm just gonna fucking.
just like, maybe over time Earth will get a cool ring. Saturn's got rings. It does just fine.
Oh yeah, we already have a fucking ring, and it's. I don't want it to be
Right, our
needles
ring
and.
should be made of space junk. That would be great.
That's cool.
I don't want it to be of medical waste and needles. It's just an old porn mag that's.
I hadn't thought of that though, man. That's really where it would go. It would turn into a ring.
We'll have our own astro belt around the.
Yeah, I mean, it would probably eventually become its own little accretion disk and turn into a ring. It'd be like a.
That's still not cool. That's like
Asteroid
that's
belt
like
or-
saying we took Mount Trashmore and made it into a park.
For anyone listening to this outside the Tidewater area, we have in our area. It's called Mount Trashmore. It is a
We
park
have the rings of trash.
built on a landfill.
I think that's clever use of urban space.
No, it is clever
Yeah.
use, but that just again reflects we're fucking nasty.
Yeah, we're gross, but
That's that's the curse of the modern age, right? It's the price we pay for all.
I don't
the
think
other
modern
crap
age
we
has
enjoy.
anything to do with it. I think from day one.
yeah, no. From day one, we were cluttering up fucking caves with our shit, so.
Well, the guy that thought of that's like in Monty Python, right? What have the Romans ever done for us? The aqueduct. Right. Okay. Besides the aqueduct, what have the Romans ever done for us? Roads. Right. Besides the aqueduct and the roads, what have the Romans ever done for us? Education. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
It's the same idea.
I
We
know.
have modern problems. They require modern solutions, and I think Mount Trashmore is a modern solution.
But the fact that we have to
Yeah, I know.
First world problems.
Yeah,
park built on trash.
which is
Yeah.
funny.
not the fact not just
have you
no.
ever been there to
At
fly?
least we have a park.
I've been there. I've been to Mount Trash. I went there. I flew a kite. It was sublime.
But I'm
Oh,
just
yeah, no,
saying
it's
it's not just that it's a park built on trash. It's we spend that much shit to make that much trash that we can make a park.
I do agree that the name's a little tragic. Like, hey, where are you going this afternoon? I'm going to Mount Trashmore. Really? Come on, couldn't you think of a better name? Like, I don't know, Virginia Beach Park. I don't care. Like, something better than Mount Trashmore.
No, I like that it is Trashmore because it does give that reminder.
Man,
Hey, honey, you
thought-
want to have a picnic? We're sitting on. There might be a plastic fork down here. Let me dig a little bit.
Oh, nope, that's just a dirty needle.
That's just a dirty.
Yeah.
You need mustard? I found a mustard bag. Oh wait, no, that's a condom. Never.
No, I think the Mount Trashmore is an unfortunate name. I would have gone with something different, something a little more pleasant. But I don't know, maybe it does reiterate because like when I was we're out there flying a kite, having a picnic, and then like I was like, hey, we're on Mount Trashmore, let's pick up our shit. Like let's not just leave it
You can
here.
just bury it though.
Yeah.
To be all right.
But
roll up
it
the
was
astroturf.
kind of a reminder. Like I feel, like you're that guy, like drinking a Coke on top of Mount Trashmore, crushing the can. I'm just gonna throw it. No, you're gonna be like, hey man, I'm on Mount Trashmore. I'm not gonna be a jerk. I'm gonna put it in a trash can. I mean, maybe that's what they were going for.
I don't know.
It's a constant
Or
reminder.
maybe it was one of those days where they all just came into the office with really bad hangovers and they needed to
Yeah.
name something.
They just
I don't
said,
know, man. Mount Trashmore. Fuck it, go with it. It's good.
I don't want to talk about this anymore. Yeah.
It's making my head hurt.
Yeah.
We've successfully killed a lot of time on this show. We have 10 minutes left. 10 minutes left, everybody.
Well, then we'll have 10
No, before the rapture.
We
So
will now have
where-
10 minutes
what
of
is it now?
silence.
Can we pray?
Yeah. Oh my gosh! So, you mentioned can we pray? I was at an event, and look, I am the out and proud atheist, and I'm
You're
not going
gay?
to deny that. But one of the things I love, and it's a secret little joy of mine, is when you're at some event and they say, "Let's bow our heads and pray." And my favorite thing to do is look around and see who is not bowing their head and praying, who is like supposed to be bowing their head and praying. Because when they look at me, I go, "You better be praying."
You should just get like a slingshot.
Yeah, I'm like, "Don't look at me. You should be praying." Come on, you say I'm the atheist. I'm allowed to look
You're a
around.
heathen.
I love that.
You make eye contact with someone and they're like,
Yeah.
they wink.
Yeah, that is my favorite thing. I love looking around and seeing who isn't praying.
I've never really in that many situations where I'm around other people.
It doesn't
who are
happen
praying.
often. That's why I
You're
relish
not
when it
around
does.
a lot of people.
I'm not around a lot of people anyway. I'm stuck in here editing all the shit that y'all do.
You're manning the command center.
Design.
I have cameras hidden in each one of your houses, so I know what you're doing.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yikes.
He's not really atheist. Look what he's doing. He brings a Bible.
I have a bunch. I am so stoked. I was so stoked to get this earlier this week.
And you got that for free, right?
Free.
For
Free.
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 We're not doing advertisement for him. Calm down.
Free. Free Bibles. Oh my god. Actually, the only thing I'm kind of pissed about is there's no color maps in this. Like
What?
I said.
Where
no,
were the
no,
colored
no.
maps?
They said there were colored
I know,
maps.
They said they were colored maps, and they said it was the Bible and not just the New Testament, which kind of pisses me off too. It's just the New Testament section of the recovery version of the Bible. There's no maps.
What?
I will give them this. There are a fucking ass ton of footnotes in this thing.
Are they legitimate?
No. No, they're not. They're. It's a neat little.
But you have a handy
Concordance
dandy guide
on the
here
side, yeah,
using
how-
the New
how
Testament
to
recovery
read it.
version. Oh, it's an illustrated guide. Maybe this is where the
There's no
maps
maps
are
there.
at.
I looked.
No,
I got really
that's crap.
excited, and then there were no maps. I'm waiting for, I think, 5 other books from them, which they should have all shipped together, but for some reason I haven't got the other 5.
Who's funding all these books?
It is a ministry that was actually started in the early 1900s.
Holy shit, dude! This is awesome. Like it has a step by. Look, this is great. It has a step by step guide to like how to use the Bible, like an instruction manual. Which, okay, great, it's full of annotations and there's lots of things to remember. But I'm telling you, step 1, pray to prepare yourself to receive the word. Did you pray?
No.
Did you receive the word?
Well, then you're fucking it up.
I
You
got a
missed
word right
step
here.
1.
I got a whole bunch of words.
Read John 1:12. After reading this verse, look at footnote 12 to help you understand the relationship between the words received and believe into. I can't believe that the first step in their instruction manual is pray to prepare yourself to receive the word.
Or the world,
Not the world.
whatever.
It's the world of the word.
I like how the second step is to read not
The
straight
book-
from the beginning,
yeah.
but the 12th verse of the first chapter of the 4th book.
And they have a 2-year schedule for reading the New Testament recovery version. With
2
footnote.
years.
2 years.
It
It doesn't
takes
take that
you-
long.
Yeah,
Holy
right.
shit.
You know, the first time I read the Bible, I was, I think, a 10 or 11. And it only took me like 4 months. And I was 11. 2 years?
You gotta let it seep
I
in.
haven't successfully done anything consistently for 2 weeks, much less 2 years. Oh my god.
Do the math on that. How long would that take you? How many words would you have to read a day to finish that in 2 years?
Not like, many. I mean, with the New Testament, I think is like about 140,000 words.
Well, I mean, all right, so it takes it light though, right? You like,
It's
on,
one or
on
two
week
verses.
1, you read Matthew 1 through 2, right? So you're only reading like
Like 2
small,
verses.
Yeah, it's like no, chapter 1 verses 1 through 2.
Oh.
Not. That's it. That's like.
That's
two
it. That's
stanzas.
it. It's a light. You take it in little chunks, but I guess you're spending most of your time praying to prepare yourself to receive the word.
No, you only do that once.
No, that's a daily. That's the daily
Oh.
step. I think.
I think so. Let's see. But like, look at these annotations on this page.
Oh my
There's
God,
literally only one verse. The rest of the page is footnotes.
Really?
Yeah.
Let me see that.
There you go.
Holy shit!
Yeah. No.
That's-
I mean, like I
So
said,
this shouldn't even take you
it
5
is-
minutes to.
It is an ass ton of footnotes. Like there are more footnotes in there than my college edition Oxford annotated Revised Standard Version of the Bible, which
Wow.
has some pretty good footnotes.
What the fuck? This is what a crazy person writes.
Well, think about the author.
That's
Hey,
kinda
did you
awesome.
maybe it would be a good topic for the next non-religious life, because I'm almost done with the Ehrman book,
Okay.
and there was that
We need a
new
new book for the
study
book club.
that they were showing that the how many of the gospels they believe are forgeries.
Yep.
Like, I think that'd be interesting to talk about.
Well, the textual, yeah, we can get into it. We can save it. But yeah, the textual evidence is that Mark was written first, and then Matthew and Luke were based on that. John was a pseudo-Gnostic book written by the Johannine cult, and then
I read,
later works on that, but yeah,
You had a link to that article, and I think the guy summed it up the best, where he was like, okay, you're Jebediah the prophet. You're not going to get very far. But if you say you're Paul,
yeah, that's exactly the thing.
that's going to carry all the way
In
in
the
world.
New Testament, there are 13 epistles. Epistles are letters written to people.
If you want to learn more about this, tune in Thursday night at 8 p.m. because it is now 9 o'clock for us.
I think that should be the topic for this.
Yeah,
next
no, we can do
round.
that.
I think that's
All right,
the way
I'm
we
stoked,
should
and
go.
we'll talk about that next
All
week.
right. Well, I want to thank everybody
Because
for
I'll finish
tuning
the
in
book
to
by next week.
The Talking Dead. Hope you enjoyed this Rapture show. And don't forget, we have a donation set up so that you can give donations to us so we don't kill Bob. If we get $1 million,
You're selling my soul.
yeah, we're gonna. So don't let us kill Bob and give us your money. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding.
He's like, I'm just kidding, but not really.
But really, send money. We're going to kill him if you don't send money. If you like Bob, send money.
You know,
But,
you
yeah.
might get the opposite effect.
And then nobody's they're like, no, kill that motherfucker.
Tired of hearing his dumbass.
Anyway, I want to thank everybody for
Kill Bob and
taking
bring
time
Paul
to
back.
for taking the time to
Much
listen to
funnier
that.
and probably better looking.
I don't know, y'all look the same.
No, we don't. Like.
Don't forget to tune in to This Non-Religious Life every Thursday night at 8 p.m. And as you heard from this show, the next topic will be of Jesus, believe it or not.
The Bible.
The Bible. So thank you for tuning in, and we will check you out next time. Have a good night. Bye. Oh, wait, you know what I forgot to do?